नमस्कार. MN न्यूजमध्ये आपले स्वागत. मी आशा वर्मा. कैवल्यधाम योग संस्था यांच्या नरिमन पॉईंट मुंबई येथील सेंट्रल आर्ट परफॉर्मिंग हॉल येथे योगिक लायन्स या शतक महोत्सवी लघु माहितीपटाचे प्रकाशन विधानसभा अध्यक्ष राहुल नार्वेकर आणि माजी केंद्रीय मंत्री सुरेश प्रभू यांच्या प्रमुख उपस्थितीत करण्यात आले. यावेळी कैवल्यधामचे कार्यकारी अधिकारी सचिव सुबोध तिवारी यांनी पाहुण्यांचे शाल श्रीफळ सन्मानचिन्ह देऊन गौरव केला. या लघु माहितीपटात संस्थेची 1924 ते 2024 पर्यंतचा वाटचाल व इतिहास दाखवण्यात आला. यावेळी उद्योजक नानिक रुपानी, नितीन ठक्कर, राकेश सक्सेरिया, डॉक्टर राजन वेलुकर, दिनेश पंजवानी, वंदन शाह आदी मान्यवर उपस्थित होते. प्रास्ताविकात 100 वर्षाची वाटचाल संस्थेचे सचिव सुबोध तिवारी यांनी विशद केली, तर विधानसभा अध्यक्ष राहुल नार्वेकर यांनी कैवल्यधाम योग संस्थेच्या 100 वर्षांच्या कार्यक्रमाची प्रशंसा करून पुढील वाटचालीस शुभेच्छा दिल्या. सुरेश प्रभू यांनी संस्थेच्या अभिमानास्पद 100 वर्षाची वाटचालीचा आढावा घेतला. उपस्थित प्रमुख पाहुणे यांचे सुबोध तिवारी यांनी आभार मानले. सदर कार्यक्रमाचे सुंदर सूत्रसंचालन अन्विता दीक्षित यांनी केले. पाहूया या कार्यक्रमाचा सविस्तर रिपोर्ट.
Of Patanjali's Ashtang Yoga and takes pride in teaching the traditional and classical form of yoga for the last several hundred years. We apply this deeply scientific knowledge to deliver holistic well-being and to impart yogic wisdom globally. Now, before we begin, I'd like to make two small requests once again. If all of you can please keep your mobile phones on silent mode. And in case you need to take any calls within the auditorium, please step out after the speaker has finished and you can take your calls outside. Now, before we move on, as always, let's start with a prayerful and spiritual mood. Hum Shanti Path ke saath is program ki anumati karenge. So we're going to begin with the Shanti Path. I'd like you all to sit up nice and tall. Let's roll the shoulders up and back. Spine lengthened, taking a moment to close your eyes. And if you know the Shanti part, you can chant with me all together. Let's inhale. Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunatu, at Kaivalidham Lonavala, and so he has a deep connection and voyage towards this organization, and he has a strong passion to carry on the message of Swami Kaivalyananda Ji and Kaivalidham with the rest of the world. Let's invite Sri Subodh Ji on stage with a huge round of applause.
Very good evening to all of you. Someone messaged me in the morning, आज इंद्र देवता भी इतने खुश हैं कि वो भी शायद इस इनॉग्रेशन में आना चाहते हैं. But I am really happy that all of you have made it, and on behalf of Kaivalidham, I welcome you all to this premiere of the documentary. Since 1924, Kaivalidham has been trying to disseminate the pure essence of yoga. When Swami Kaivalyananda Ji founded Kaivalidham in 1924, the work of research had already begun much before in 1917 at Baroda, where he was the principal of the National College there. The experiments had begun, and Swamiji found, and he was convinced that there needs to be a full-fledged entity which promotes scientific research in yoga to demystify and make it available to the common man. And that's how Kaivalyadham Lonavala was born on the 7th of October 1924. Yogic Science, an Odyssey of 100 Years, has come out after an in-depth research, contemplation, and hard work. 100 years of Kaivalyadham is not the only depiction which we want to show here, but more importantly, how the renaissance of yoga has been impacted by the work of Kaivalyadham in last century. That has been the focus of what we have tried to make. So I won't stand in between you for longer time before you watch the film. I again, on behalf of Kaivalyadham, welcome you all and thank you so much for your support.
Digital Flame and Adit Media, who have created and presented this documentary to share their thoughts and a few words on the creation process of this documentary with us. Let's welcome them with a huge round of applause.
A Yogic Science, an Odyssey of 100 Years. This documentary holds a very important place in my heart since it allowed me to experience the real impact of yoga on my own life. I want to thank you, Kaivalyadham Institute, to giving me this opportunity to capture the essence of the institute and present it to the world. I also want to thank you, my team, who day and night worked on a documentary and give it a life to it. Again, thank you so much for coming here. I hope this documentary leaves a long-lasting impact on you and it inspires you and it enlightens you. Thank you. Over to Paul.
This is a very emotional moment for me and for all of us, the team who's worked on Kaivalyadham movie. I would like to first thank from the bottom of my heart Subodh sir for giving us this opportunity and trusting us. Nishant sir, who has been a guide all along in this whole journey. Jitendra Arora sir, who has been a very essential bridge and without whom the smoothness of this movie would not have come out, and all of Kaivalyadham who made us feel like that we are one of them. So I would just like to, before we start the movie, I would just like to share a few experiences. So we are working with Kaivalyadham for the last 4 years now, and wherever we go, wherever we talk to people about Kaivalyadham, and whatever few of them.
I cannot claim that I know all of you individually, but I certainly know of you, the contribution each one of you have been making to make world a better place in your own way. And therefore to bring so many of you under one roof at the same time itself is a great achievement, and I must congratulate my dear friend Subodh Tiwari ji and his team for making it happen. It's a very interesting program. We are not here only to see a film, but to experience something which each one of us want to have in our own life, but we miss out the opportunities. See, most of the time when we are born, we want to know why I was born. When you are too young, we don't know it. And when you are a little older, you don't have no time to think about it. And that's what Shailendra had said. Bachpan khel mein khoya, budhapa dekh kar roya. So most of the time we lose out an opportunity of knowing ourselves. Today, in this film that we'll see, as well as each one of us have experienced some part of it in your visits to Kaivalyadham. But I think together we must think about what can be done to make the world even better place than what it is today. and that's a challenge. It's very interesting that we are celebrating 100 years, but what is interesting is that human beings have survived on this planet
an opportunity to better their health, physical as well as mental. This is an institute which has selflessly devoted itself to the well being of mankind, irrespective of their social status, their religious affiliation, and their social standing. This is one institute where a common man can approach for his betterment. Therefore, this institute has stood up to the test of time to ensure that it delivers to the requirements, aspirations of every individual that comes to them for help. So I congratulate them for completing 100 years, not only in the field of yoga, but in the field of human service. Having said that, as we are aware, as India marches ahead to become the fifth largest economy under the leadership of Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi ji, I believe yoga, which is undoubtedly an indigenous source of science, which has brought the entire world